She reaches into her coat and touches the letter again. Not to read it, but to remind herself that its truth is real. Betrayal, a hidden past, a danger rising beneath downtown, and her name tangled in all of it. Her heart pounds once, hard enough to steady her thoughts. She opens her eyes. Dottie decides. She will not run. Not this time. Not when the truth threatens to swallow everything around her. She will face the betrayer. She will uncover what has been hidden. And she will confront the shadow of her past that refuses to stay buried. With her jaw set and her steps firm, she turns toward the old warehouse district, the place where secrets are traded like currency and where she knows the betrayer will be waiting. The city seems to shift as she walks, as if accepting her choice. Streetlights blink awake. Signs rattle in the wind. The ground hums with a low tension, like the calm before a storm. Abby doesn't look back. She doesn't need to. The moment she chose to face the truth, the path behind her closed forever. Ahead lies danger, darkness, and answers she may not survive, but she moves forward anyway, because sometimes the bravest decision is the one that hurts the most. And Abby has finally made hers. The warehouse district feels colder than the rest of downtown, as if the buildings here were built from stone and old regrets. Abby moves between long rows of metal walls, each one echoing her footsteps back at her. The moon hides behind heavy clouds, leaving only thin streaks of light to guide her. She can sense it now, the tension, the danger. The presence of someone waiting for her in the dark. At the end of the narrow path stands an old warehouse. Its windows broken, its doors half-rotten, but its silence sharp enough to cut. This is the place written in the letter. This is where the truth begins. Ends. Abby pushes the door open slowly. The rusty hinges scream into the empty air, announcing her arrival more loudly than she wanted. Inside, the space is wide and hollow. Dust floats through the air like ghosts of forgotten days. Old crates sit stacked in corners, untouched. A single hanging bulb flickers above, casting long shadows that stretch across the floor like reaching hands. Abby steps in cautiously, her senses alert, her breath steady. Then she hears a quiet shift in the darkness. A familiar voice rises, low and strained. "I knew you'd come, Abby." A figure steps forward from the shadows, slowly taking shape under the weak light. Though the face stays hidden, the stance is unmistakable. This is the ally who betrayed her. The person who walked beside her through storms, who fought at her side, who shared her trust, and then broke it. Abby's voice is calm, but it carries a sharp edge. "You sent the letter? I had no choice," the figure answers. The words shake slightly, as if pulled from a place of regret. "You were never meant to know. Not like this." Abby steps closer, the shadows shifting around her feet. "Then tell me, why betray me? Why now?" A heavy silence settles between them before the figure speaks again. "Because they're waking it. The thing beneath downtown, and only you can stop it. But if you knew the truth about who you really are, about what you were made for, you'd run, you'd disappear, and we would all be lost." Abby feels the ground tilt beneath her. What she was made for? The words hit her like a blast of cold wind. She clenches her jaw, fighting the confusion rising inside her. "You should have trusted me," she says quietly. The figure steps closer, desperation in their voice. "I wanted to. But trusting you meant risking the city, risking everything. I hoped maybe if I pushed you away, you would stay safe. But they found out. They're coming here, Abby. Tonight." The bulb overhead flickers harder, casting wild shadows that dance across the walls. The air thickens with tension. Abby can feel something shifting outside the warehouse. It's like footsteps gathering, like danger drawing near. She stares at the person she once trusted more than anyone. Betrayal burns, but beneath it, she sees furial fear. And something else. Guilt. Maybe even love twisted into something unrecognizable by pressure and time. "Tell me the truth," Abby says. "All of it." The figure takes a breath, steadying themselves. "I'll tell you everything. But you need to understand something first." Before Abby can respond, the warehouse door slams shut behind her. A second presence enters the room. The slam of the warehouse door echoes through the hollow space like a warning shot. Abby turns sharply, but the darkness behind her is thick, swallowing shapes before her eyes can form them. The air shifts slow, cold, and sure, like someone has stepped into a room that was never meant to welcome them. The betrayer stiffens, their breath catching, their voice suddenly small. They followed us. The figure whispers. Abby steps back, her eyes locked on the growing shadow near the entrance. The dim bulb above flickers again, this time in fast, nervous beats, as if even the light is afraid of what's coming. The shadow moves, not rushing, not hiding, but with a calmness that feels more dangerous than any threat Abby has faced before. Then the light steadies for a moment, and the shape becomes clearer. Tall figure wrapped in a heavy coat, face covered, posture steady and silent. No words, no greeting, just a slow, controlled breath that fills the room with tension. The betrayer speaks first, their voice barely steady. "You weren't supposed to be here." "Not yet." But the silent figure lifts a hand, and the room answers not with words, but with a vibration deep beneath the floorboards. A low hum rolls through the warehouse, rattling the metal beams, shaking dust from the ceiling. Abby feels it rise through her shoes, through her bones, through her chest. It's the same hum she remembers from her childhood, the one she spent years convincing herself she imagined. "Abby." The stranger finally speaks, voice low and calm. "You've felt this before." Our heart drops, because she has. Long ago, in a forgotten place where she once trained, where the walls whispered about power, purpose, and danger. A place that told her she was not like the others, even before she understood what that meant. The stranger steps closer, and Abby grips the edge of a crate to keep steady. The sound beneath the floor grows stronger, almost alive. "You were never running from the city," the stranger says softly. "You were running from yourself. From what you carry, from what they created inside you." The betrayer looks away, guilt weighing their shoulders. Abby's mind races, pulling back memories she had locked behind years of silence. White rooms, sharp lights, voices saying she was special, voices saying she was a key. A key to what? She never knew. Until now, the stranger tilts their head. Downtown is built on something old, something buried, something waking. And you are the only one who can control it, or destroy it. The hum becomes a pulse, steady, powerful, familiar. Abby feels a warmth spreading through her palms, through her chest, through the air around her. She steps back, shaken. "No," she says quietly. "That part of me is gone. I buried it." "Didn't bury it," the stranger replies. "You only forgot where it sleeps." The warehouse shakes, harder this time. The floor cracks slightly near the corner. A faint glow seeps up through the split concretes, oft eerie, alive. Abby stares at it, fear and understanding mixing inside her like fire and ice. This is the twist she never expected, the truth she never wanted. She isn't just part of the story. She is the center of it, the key, the danger. The cure. The stranger steps closer, voice firm now. "Choose Abby before the city chooses for you." And in that moment, everything she thought she knew about herself, her past, her escape, her purpose begins to fall apart. The glow rising from the cracked floor spreads slowly, like light pushing its way through deep water. Abby feels its warmth touch her shoes, then climb up her legs, wrapping around her like invisible hands. It's not painful, it's powerful. Too powerful. The betrayer steps back in fear, while the silent stranger watches her with calm eyes. As if this moment was always meant to happen, Abby closes her hands into fists. She can feel something waking inside her, something she once fought so hard to forget, a force that never truly left. A force she was taught to control, but never taught to understand. The hum beneath her becomes a steady pulse, beating in time with her heart. "Abby," betrayer whispers, voice trembling. "You don't have to do this. You can still turn away." But Abby shakes her head. "No, turning away is what caused all this. It ends tonight." The stranger takes a step closer, the glow reflecting in their hidden face. "You were made to guide this energy, to balance it. Without you, the city falls apart. Abby doesn't answer. Instead, she walks toward the broken floor. The glow brightens with each step, spreading across the ground like veins of light. She kneels and presses one hand against the crack. A sharp breath leaves her lips as the energy surges up her arm. Not angry or wild, but desperate, like something begging for direction. The memories rush back. Training rooms, white corridors, voices teaching her to connect, to channel, to command. She hated it then. She feared it. But now she understands she wasn't created to destroy. She was created to hold back the thing buried beneath downtown. A force that was waking because she was no longer there to keep it asleep. She steadies herself. Slow inhale. Slow exhale. Every fear she ever carried falls away piece by piece. The betrayer steps beside her, tears in their eyes. "I never wanted this for you," they say softly. "But you're the only one who can handle it." Abby doesn't look at them. She doesn't need to. Her answer's already clear. The warehouse, another shadow. Another secret. Another part of her story waiting to break open. The city is quiet now. Too quiet. The lights of downtown flicker like they're trying to warn someone trying to warn her. Because tonight, everything Abby has fought for, everything she has feared, is finally catching up to her. And when the sun rises, downtown will never, the night hangs over downtown like a heavy curtain. Thick with secrets and unfinished stories, a cold wind moves through the empty streets, carrying the distant echo of memories, some broken, some stubborn, all of them tied to one name, Abby. The buildings stand tall and quiet, watching over the city like tired guardians who already know how this story will end. Inside the old train station, the clock ticks louder than it should, counting down to something no one is ready for. A single lamp glows in the corner, weak and shaky, as if it's afraid of the dark. Shadows move across the walls, long and stretched, forming shapes that look almost alive. Somewhere in the silence, you can feel the sense that this place is holding its breath. Tonight marks the end of a journey Abby never asked for. A journey that began with a mistake, grew with a lie, and twisted into a storm that swallowed her whole. People speak her name in whispers now. Some fear her. Some pitied her. And a few, the ones who truly knew her, still believe she has a choice left to make. Her footsteps echo from a distance, not rushed, not slow, but steady. Each step feels like a question. Will this be her final walk through downtown? Or will she rise one last time to face the truth she has been running from? The air grows colder as she moves, as if the city itself wants to warn her to turn back. It's not too late. But Abby doesn't turn. She keeps going. Outside, the streetlights flicker again, brighter this time, lighting up abandoned corners and forgotten doorways. They reveal posters peeling off walls, windows cracked from past fights, and a narrow alley painted with old graffiti that hides more stories than scars. Everything around her feels like a reminder of what she's lost, and what she still might lose, and then there it is. A faint glimmer inside her coat pocket. The letter. The same letter that pulled her back into downtown after she swore she would never return. She hasn't opened it yet, but she doesn't need to. She knows what it holds. Answers she's feared for years. In a truth that could break everything she is trying to protect, Abby stops under a street lamp. The light falls on her like a spotlight on a stage, where she is the final actor left. The city around her stays silent, waiting, watching. And in that moment, she realizes something she has been avoiding. Tonight is not just another night. Tonight is the night people will remember. Even if they never see her face again, be the same again. The wind pushes through the narrow streets as if it remembers everything that happened here, things most people try to forget. But the city does not forget, and neither does Abby. Her story didn't start with danger or fear. It began quietly, almost softly, on the edges of downtown, where she tried to build a simple life far from trouble. But trouble has a way of finding the ones who run from it. Back then, Abby kept her head low. She wasn't trying to be a hero or a leader. She just wanted peace. But downtown was a place that fed on secrets, and Abby carried one so heavy it followed her like a shadow. When people noticed her strength, her calm confidence, they began to look to her for help. First one person, then many. And before Abby even understood what was happening, she had become the silent center of a growing storm. That storm arrived in the form of two powerful groups, the Guild and the Syndicate. They ruled downtown in different ways. Neither one kind, neither one patient. Both believed Abby knew something they needed, something hidden deep in her past. Tension thickened. Streets grew louder. Walls gained new cracks. And Abby, who never wanted any part of this, suddenly found herself standing between forces that wanted to tear each other apart. She tried to keep peace. She tried to stay unseen. But the more she avoided the truth, the stronger their interest in her became. They watched her, followed her, tested her. Until one night, everything changed when she saved a stranger who wasn't supposed to survive. That single act revealed her skill, her courage, and the secret she had tried to bury. Downtown's balance shattered. And then came the letter. Delivered quietly with no name, sealed with a symbol she hadn't seen in years. A symbol tied to the darkest chapter of her life. She froze the moment she saw it because she knew the letter didn't bring news, it brought consequences. By the time Abby realized she was being pulled back into the past had already reached out and wrapped around her. The last time we saw her, she stood at the city border, holding that unopened letter. The air around her felt heavy with choice. Behind her lay the chaos she once escaped. Ahead of her, a road that could erase every trace of her story, but Abby didn't walk away. She turned back, eyes steady, heart shaking. Something inside her whispered that running wasn't strength. Facing the truth was. Now, as she steps deeper into downtown again, everything she tried to leave behind rises like smoke around her. Every mistake, every battle, every broken promise, she feels them pressing close, reminding her that no one escapes a story forever. And tonight, that story reaches its final page. The letter feels heavier than paper should ever feel. Abby holds it carefully, almost afraid it might burn her fingers if she presses too hard. The seal on the front is old, cracked, but unmistakably a symbol she once swore she would never look at again. A circle split into two halves, one dark, one light. The mark of the person who shaped her life in ways she never understood and never wanted to. She stands under a weak street lamp as the city hums in the background. Trains rumble in the distance, cars rush by. All Abby hears is her own heartbeat. Slow, strong, uneasy. She slips her thumb under the seal and breaks it. The sound is soft, but it slices through the silence like a blade. Inside, the letter is short. Too short, just a few lines of ink written in sharp strokes that look rushed, desperate, maybe even scared. Abby reads slowly, afraid of each word before her eyes reach it. It says her closest Aletha, one person she trusted when everyone else turned away, has betrayed her. Not out of hate, not out of greed, but out of fear. Fear of the truth Abby carries. Fear of what she might become. Fear of what is waking up beneath downtown. Something tied to Abby in a way she never imagined. The letter also reveals something even worse. Her past is not what she remembers. It hints at a missing piece, a secret buried under years of silence. A truth that might explain why the Guild and the Syndicate chased her for so long. A truth Abby once begged to forget. As she finishes reading, her grip tightens. Her breath shakes. The street lamp flickers, almost reacting to her rising tension. Memories she locked away begin to push back into her mind, flashes of training she was too young to understand. Voices giving her orders, shadows watching her from behind glass walls. She remembers running, hiding, changing her name, and promising herself she would never let anyone control her again. But the letter says she was never free. Not really. Something inside her was always meant to be awakened, and now the final key has turned. Someone close to her knew this. Someone she trusted. Someone who stood at her side while secretly preparing to break her. Abby folds the letter slowly. Not because she wants to save it, but because destroying it won't change what she now knows. She slips it back into her coat, her hands steady, even though her heart is not. The street grows colder. The shadows around her deepen. Downtown seems to lean in, waiting for her reaction. She whispers one sentence into the night. A promise, a warning, maybe both. If this is the truth, then I face it now, just like that. Abby steps out of the glow of the street lamp and into the darker parts of the city, where the answers she fears most are waiting for her. The streets narrow as Abby walks deeper into downtown, where the lights are fewer and the shadows cling to the walls like they're alive. Every step she takes feels heavier than the last, as if the ground itself is trying to hold her back. But she keeps moving. She has to. The truth inside the letter has already changed her path. There's no turning away from it now. She stops at a quiet crossroad, a place she knows too well. This is where she once chose a different life. A life without fear. A life without orders. A life where she thought she could finally breathe. Now she stands in the same spot, forced to choose again. Only this time the choice is sharper, colder, and far more dangerous. Her mind plays both sides of the decision, like two voices arguing softly inside her head. One voice begs her to walk away. Leave downtown behind while she still can. Disappear into a new name, a new place, a new life where no one knows her past. Run far enough, and maybe the truth will fade again. Maybe the weight she carries will finally fall away. But the other voice, the one that sounds like the Abby she became over the years, tells her the opposite. It reminds her of the people who trusted her when the world didn't. It reminds her of the faces she couldn't save, and the ones she still might. It whispers that running may keep her alive, but facing the truth might save the city she once called home. Abby looks around. The buildings loom above her, tall and tired. Their windows reflect faint glimmers of light, like 1,000 silent eyes watching her choose. The air feels colder now, wrapping around her like a warning. She closes her eyes and breathes in slowly. She can almost feel the presence of the betrayer, somewhere close watching, waiting, ready.